Kazuaki, what is up with Apple's plans for blockchain?
Yeah, if you take a look at the TechCrunch post and the article saying Apple is going to build their own blockchain, or specifically, the blockchain will be for NFT platform, obviously. But
Yeah.
I was wondering what's gonna happen if Apple built their own blockchains, and probably they might gonna use it for their gaming platform. And
Yeah.
also, I'm not really sure um, what the other use cases for them.
Yeah. So, I mean, this article starts off talking about Axie Infinity, which I think there was news yesterday that the quote unquote hackers have been quote unquote identified as North Korean state affiliated hacking team, I think called Lazarus or something like that. Um, and basically what happened there was there's a side chain of Ethereum called Ronin that was being used by Axie Infinity which is an NFT based game. The reason that they're using a side chain is obviously on Ethereum, it's very expensive to be doing a lot of small transactions, which is what you'd want to do on an NFT based game. So they built their own side chain called Ronin, which was kind of a proof of authority type of side chain that was managed by a DAO, and somehow this hacking group got control of the DAO, I believe through legitimate or semi-legitimate means of, just buying tokens or whatever. I don't really know the story, but as far as I know, it wasn't a hack. And then at some point, the developers behind that left some sort of security hole open to whoever controlled the DAO would be able to kind of drain the side chain. So that's what happened with Axie Infinity. Um, and so the leads a question, like if you're going to have NFT based gaming, which all the game companies are saying that they're in favor of, and of course they are because there's a huge revenue stream there. Um, Axie Infinity was hacked for $650 million, so massive revenue stream there. Um, if you're going to have NFT gaming, it looks like you're going to want side chains or some sort of alternative chain. And so, does it make sense for Apple, who's basically a major game distributor at this point, for them to have their own chain? Apple is famous for wanting to retain as much power as possible. And so, this would allow them to do that and allow them to do things like they like to do, which is take 30% of everyone's money for using the Apple
Yeah.
platform. They don't want to give that up. So um, I guess the Apple had just banned an NFT app that was on the Apple App Store, but it was basically as much of an NFT as the line NFTs apparently are, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But also there is an OpenSea app and things like that on the App Store, I believe. So
Mm.
but you can't buy anything. And of course, also there's MetaMask and apps like that on the Apple App Store, right? So, and Apple has no way for them to be taking 30% of what you're doing there. So, and why would they? I mean, they don't take 30% of your Robinhood account, right? So there's kind of limits to what Apple can reasonably
Right.
do here. But uh,
Right.
if they had their own chain and then they kind of enabled in the iOS SDK or whatever it is that they use for game development,
Mm.
if they had something that they could basically tell their developers, hey, you got to use this if you're going to do NFT stuff, and that could have something built into it. So I don't know. I mean, does Apple a is Apple willing to put themselves at risk of things like the SEC and things like that to be involved in blockchain, and then B,
Yeah.
they have the competence and culture to support blockchain efforts. What do you think?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I still don't know if you know Apple joining the blockchain space makes sense for Apple
Yeah,
because they only have you know like one big platform, which is like iOS platform, and the application for iOS cannot always use the Android. So um, the user won't don't have any interoperability between Apple and Android at this point. So why
yeah.
people using Apple blockchain?
That
Does it
yeah.
doesn't really make sense,
It doesn't make sense from the user perspective. Obviously, that makes
right?
sense from Apple's perspective as something they would like to do, which is lock people
Yeah,
in. But if they had a blockchain, you would think they would have to let Android apps access
yeah. That's my point. That's my point. And then yeah, so at this point, when I first saw this article, it just feel like Apple just trying to use a marketing buzzword called
Yeah,
NFT or blockchain itself.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's a good that's a good point. It's a good point for sure. I think it's quite risky as well because they're already in a lot of legal trouble, with Epic suing them.
yeah, yeah,
Epic basically suing them, obviously for their own self-interest with Fortnite, but also it's in the interest of the greater user base who wants to have that kind of cross-platform capabilities, which is basically what Epic was suing Apple over.
yeah.
Um, I don't know. Yeah, it's tough, but I do have to ask myself when I see an article like this, and this person Lucas Matney, who's co-host of the Chain Reaction podcast. Apparently, I haven't taken a listen to that. I'll take a listen.
Mm.
Um, but why did they write this article, and where did
Right,
it come
right.
from? You know,
Hmm.
this is the type of thing that's kind of seems like a bit of a weather balloon in terms
Yeah.
of Apple wanting to know what people might think about them launching a blockchain. Obviously, it's
Mm.
not a sponsored post or anything. I don't see anything like that
Right,
here, but it
right.
is interesting.
Mm.
Um,
That's a great point.
yeah,
Yeah.
but who knows? Maybe I'm just jaded. I'll have to
Mm.
listen to their podcast and see what's up.
Mm.
I don't. I haven't heard of that before. Chain Reaction podcast.